Hello, we're about to read The Crucible by Arthur Miller, but first you need some background knowledge on the Salem Witch Trials. So at the end of this lesson, you shall be able to 1. Explain the basic history of the Salem Witch Trials, and 2. Be able to defend a possible cause for the hysteria. Alright, so here's your first question. We all have fears. Even whole societies have fears. So what type of events in your community or in America as a whole may cause people to overreact or have caused people to overreact in the past? In other words, the solution becomes worse than the thing that people fear. So think about some of the fears of our times. Fears of America, fears of Texas, fears in your community, or fears anywhere in the world. What are some things that we fear in our society? All right, some background on the setting. So Salem in 1692 was a community on edge. They had conflict with Native Americans, diseases like smallpox, and extremely harsh winters. And it all had taken its toll. Salem is still a town today, and it's located in Massachusetts. Here's a map of where we are. Right there, CTHS in Houston. And if we were to zoom out on this map, I'm going to show you where Salem is today. Right up here in Massachusetts, near Boston. And if you go north of Boston, here is Salem. Okay, so a water harbor town. And if you remember how we read about Plymouth Rock with the Mayflower landing in Plymouth, Plymouth is also in Massachusetts, right here. So let's look at this map. We have Salem Town and Salem Village. Okay, so two separate areas of Salem for our story setting. So growing political and social divide strained relations between the farmers of Salem Village and the more wealthy residents of Salem Town. So I want you to look at this map and think about geography. What features here would make Salem Town more wealthy? What geographical features would make them economically better off in Salem Town? So here we have, I've drawn a box around Salem Town. So once again, what geographic features help explain why Salem Town was economically better off than the farmers further west? Okay, so back to history on the Salem Witch Trials. It all started in the home of Reverend Samuel Parris. And Arthur Miller, our playwright, actually takes these true names of the people that lived through the Salem Witch Trials and put them into his play, though he does make up some of his own story, which we'll talk about more. So Reverend Samuel Parris, he has a daughter, Betty, age 9, and her cousin, Abigail Williams, age 11. They started showing strange behaviors. They would crawl under furniture, speak gibberish, and have strange fits. After several weeks of this, Reverend Parris thought he found the cause. Reverend Paris discovered that his slave, Tituba, had been entertaining the girls and her friends with fortune-telling and stories of magic. From this, he and the village doctor concluded that witchcraft was the cause of their behavior. Soon, other girls began showing symptoms. The girls first accused 3 women, Tituba, Sarah Good, and Sarah Osborne, of using witchcraft against them. Under interrogation, Tituba confessed and claimed that there were many other witches at work in Salem. The news shocked the village, and the Salem Witch Trials had begun. So here's your next question. Imagine you were on trial in Salem, Massachusetts. What do you do? Should you confess and hope for the best? Or defend yourself since you know the charges are ridiculous? There are no such thing as these witches. So keep in mind you are Puritan, and lying for any reason is a sin. What would you do? Confess or claim innocence? If you confessed, you are like many of the other survivors. You would be set free, but your land and property would be taken by the state. Also, if you confess, the court will want you to give the names of your fellow witches. If you claim you are innocent, in other words, you tell the truth, you saved your Puritan soul, but you lose your life. That's right. If you say you're innocent and do not confess to being a witch, even though you very well are not a witch, you will still lose your life. Very unfair.